Hello, my name is Lucas. I am the founder of Data Marketing School. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up Matomo Analytics with GTM server-side. Okay, so before we dive into the configuration, let me show you my working environment. So here I do have a GTM web container, and here I have my GTM server container. I'm using this on my demo shop here, which already has a data layer installed. Here I've got my Matomo instance. Here, this is my Matomo client, which I will use in this video. And here, this is Addingwell. So basically my GTM server is hosted on Addingwell. Let me show you what's inside the GTM web. So I've already configured my GA4 tags on GTM web. So for example, here I based these events on my data layer events from my demo shop. And here I've got my Google tag with server container URL, which is my server, and the same page view to true. On my GTM server preview, I do see my page view event, which is received correctly here. This is the first way of doing it. You do have a GA4 data collection installed on your website. You may already send this data to your server, and you want to connect Matomo in server-side with this GA4 data stream. This is going to be the first part of this video, and on the second part of this video I'm going to show you how to send data to Matomo through GTM server-side but using a Matomo data collection. So let's go for the GA4 data collection. So here it's already configured. I'm just going to add a new tag on my GTM server. I'm looking inside the gallery to find the Matomo Analytics tag from Data Marketing School. Let's type Matomo and select the one from Data Marketing School, click Add to Workspace, Add, and here you select the client type. So if you do have a GA4 data collection installed like we have here, you need to select GA4 client. If you do have a Matomo data collection, which we're going to see later in this video, you can select Matomo client. Okay, so for this example, let's choose GA4 client. So here you need to enter the Matomo instance URL, which is what you do have here. In my case, it's dms.matomo.cloud. Here I'm going to enter this dms.matomo.cloud, and here I need my auth token. You can find it inside your Matomo instance. So click on the gear icon here and select security under personal, and then scroll down to auth tokens. So here you can see I've already created one, but once it's created, you cannot see the token again. So I'm going to create a new one. Here, I'm just adding a description, SGTM, for example, and I uncheck only allow secure requests. And I click on create new token. Okay, and here you have your token. You can copy this, paste it here inside the auth token field. The site ID. So if you're not sure about what to enter here, you can check your website inside Matomo. And here, my demo shop website ID is 1. So here I'm going to enter 1. And here you can select the event type. For now, I'm going to select the page view, and I'm going to trigger this one on page view. So I've already created some triggers so that it goes a bit faster in this video. Basically, what I've got inside this trigger, I do check that the client name equals GA4 and the event name equals page view. So I'm going to select this one. Here, I'm going to name it MTN page view. So here I'm going to open my GTM server-side preview. I'm going to reload my website. So here you can see that on the page view event, the Matomo tag fired. You can see here that the request was sent to my Matomo instance. If I go back to my Matomo instance, if I go to dashboard, I can see here that a page view was received inside Matomo. Okay, so now we're going to configure a bit more stuff here. Let's copy this tag so that we don't have to enter the information again. I recommend that you set up a heartbeat tag, which will enable you to have more accurate data on Matomo and specifically on the time spent on page. So here under event type, you can select heartbeat, and here you can trigger this one on user engagement, which is a GA4 event used for session time inside GA4. And this is why you can map this with the heartbeat event. We can also trigger a goal. If I go back to my GTM web, I do send a generate lead event, and I also have an Elementor form listener. And basically here on my Elementor form page, each time I send this form, I do have a generate lead event that is sent to my server. So here on my server, I can use this generate lead event to trigger my Matomo tag and to send a goal to Matomo. For example, my goal inside Matomo is lead. If you want to create a new goal inside Matomo, you can go to the gear icon, you can go to websites, and you can go to goals. And here you can see that my goal lead is already created. And the idea of this goal is 5. So if you don't have any goals created, you can create a new one, and you can select goal is manually triggered using the JavaScript API track goal. Here I'm going to copy the goal ID to select actions as event type, and then action type is going to be goal. Under the goal ID, I'm going to paste my goal ID. Trigger this generate lead, and I'm going to save this. Open the preview again, and let's try to enter some information here. So I do have a generate lead event, which has been sent to my server, which triggered my Matomo goal tag. And if I go back to Matomo dashboard, you can see that the lead goal was correctly sent to Matomo. Now let's configure the e-commerce part. Let's again copy this tag, configure the cart update. So here you can select e-commerce tracking, you can then select cart update, and here you can enter the items array, but by default it will look into the items inside the event data, so you don't have to enter anything here. And here you can trigger this tag on add to cart and also remove from cart events, and this tag will correctly send the cart updates to your Matomo instance. Open the preview again. So let's add, for example, my hat to cart. I'm going to add the jacket as well. So here you can see that on add to cart events, the Matomo cart update tag fired. Inside your Matomo instance, you can see that my hat and my jacket are inside my cart, which gives me a total of 37 euros, which is what I've got here. And let's remove, for example, my hat. So you can see here that my tag also fired on my remove from cart event. And here you can see that I only have my jacket left inside the Matomo cart here. So let's add, for example, shirt green. Let's add another jacket. So now you can see here I've got 2 jackets. The quantity is 2 under the jacket, and the quantity is 1 for shirt green, which gives me a total of 70 euros, which is exactly what we've got here. Let's now configure the purchase event. Let's start from the page view again. Copy, let's name this order. Under event type, select e-commerce tracking again, and here select e-commerce order. So here basically it's understanding everything from the GA4 data stream, so you don't have to override anything here. Trigger this one on the purchase event. Okay, let's save. Open the preview again, and here I'm going to buy my 3 items. I do have a subtotal of 70 euros with a shipping of 5 euros, which gives me a total of 75. Place order. So here I did receive my purchase event on my server, which did send this data to Matomo. On Matomo, I do have the order with a revenue of 75 euros. Also, what's inside the order, my shirt green and my jacket. So this is basically how you can set up Matomo with GTM server-side if you're using a GA4 data stream. Now I'm going to move to the second part of this video, and I'm going to show you how to set up Matomo data stream on your website and then send this data to your server and then to Matomo. Here, let's select a new tag on GTM Web, which is going to be Matomo Analytics. Configuration here, click Add to Workspace, click Add. So here, when you configure your tag, your GTM Web Matomo tag in a server-side implementation, instead of entering your Matomo Cloud instance, you need to enter the URL of your server here. Under site ID, it's 1 in my case. Let's add a trigger and trigger this on initialization, all pages. Let's click save and save again. What you need to do is to change the template code to tell the tag to send the data to your server and not to your Matomo instance. So here under permission first, you need to change here the patterns. In this example, my server is demo-shop-server-side .data marketing school.com, and let's say I want to bypass ad blockers as well. And so I don't want to load this through matomo.js, but I will enter mtm.js, for example. Okay, so here you can copy this and go to code, and here you see that there is a comment to edit in server side, and here is the library that you need to change. You can paste here the tracker path. You can also change this because the Matomo is likely to be blocked by ad blockers, so you can enter here just mtm, for example. So you can save. So here you can close this. Now we need to install something more on GTM server in order to load properly the Matomo library and also understand the MTM path that will be received by the server. Here you need to install my Matomo client. I will give you the link in the description so you can download the file here, go to your GTM server and go to templates. Under the client template section, you can click on new, click on import, and then select your client template. You can then click save and you can close. Under the client section, you need to add the client. You can specify the request path, and you can also choose to load the JavaScript library. The request path is going to be mtm, so I'm going to enter mtm and I'm going to load the JavaScript library. The JavaScript library path is going to be mtm.js. I'm going to enter mtm.js. Allow the origins, so you can specify the website that is going to send the data, so that not every website can send data to your server and load, for example, the mtm.js library using your server. So here my website is demoshop-wp.datamarketingschool.com. So I'm going to enter this here, click save and name this Matomo. Then let's try this first. So here I do have a Matomo.js request, which my Matomo client claimed. You can see that the request is /mtm, and my client also claimed the request and generated some Matomo event data. Once you did this with the Matomo client, you need to create your Matomo analytics tag, and here under the client type you can select Matomo client, and here you need to enter your Matomo instance, and here you need to paste your auth token. If you didn't follow the previous part of the video, you need to go to personal security and then under auth tokens create a new one, and here you just need to uncheck the only allow secure request, SGTM Matomo client token, copy your token, paste it here under site ID, enter your site ID. You need to trigger this on every event that goes through the Matomo client, so I'm going to create a new trigger, select custom some events, client name equals Matomo, click save, click save. This is the only thing that you need to configure, since the data stream is from Matomo and you're sending the data to Matomo, so you don't have any mapping to do. Open the preview again, reload the page here. You can see page view event, which was sent to Matomo. Let's go to Matomo instance, let's go to dashboard, and here you can see the page view that was received here. You can configure as well other Matomo tags here with the Matomo Analytics Actions tag, Matomo Analytics e-commerce tag. I did a specific video about how you can configure Matomo Analytics with GTM Web, so I'll put the link down below in the description. You can check it out. That's it for this video. To summarize, I did show you how to set up Matomo with GTM server-side when you are using a GA4 data stream. In most GTM server-side setups, you would use a GA4 data stream, so it's really convenient to connect all your platforms plus Matomo with this data stream. If you don't connect GA4 in your GTM server, if you don't connect Google Ads, you may not be using a GA4 data stream to send your data to your server. If you're using only Matomo, for example, on your website, you can also connect Matomo with GTM server-side using my tag.